We had a little miracle. On October 17th, 2019, my eldest son came to visit me in the hospital. I was on the psych ward for attempting to unalive myself.
You're watching the Spotlight Network, starring Hollywood's newsman, Logan Crawford.
They now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're exploring a courageous and deeply human story with Stefonknee Wolscht. She is the author of an amazing book. It is called Holding On by a Thread. This powerful memoir takes readers inside the painful yet inspiring journey of a transgender woman navigating rejection, mental illness, homelessness, and resilience while searching for love and acceptance. It is a story that challenges stigma, exposes systemic shortcomings, and reveals the strength it takes to hold on when the world seems determined to let go. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Seven Chapter Literary for helping us put her on TV today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Stefonknee, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Good morning, Logan. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Great to have you on the show. This is a powerful book. The title itself, Holding On by a Thread, is quite gripping, particularly when you realize this is a memoir. Why did you choose that title, and when in your life did you feel like you were just kind of holding on by a thread?
Well, I went through a lot of things in my life that I wasn't prepared for. I had lived a traditional middle-class life with all the privileges that has. But once I came out as Stefonknee, I began to lose control of all the things that I thought I had put in place, including my housing, my mental health, and even my criminal record. I was homeless, I became depressed, and I was arrested numerous times for being transgender because I chose to let the world know that this is who I really am. And with that, I lost hope. It became hopeless, and I lost access to my 7 children. I was isolated from my siblings and my dad. And the rejection was almost too much to deal with. And in doing so, I was holding on barely by a thread. And it took a while for things to turn around.
Yeah. How old were you when you transitioned? And obviously, it was a difficult time in your life.
I was 46 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're 46 years old. Your children are grown or nearly grown at that age?
My children are grown. Now so I have 7 children. I now have 18 grandchildren. So yeah, the kids are all big. They're doing really well. But I was isolated from them for 9 years.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And was that their choice or their other parents' choice?
I think it was between my ex-wife and my church. I'm Catholic. And the church had labeled me as being possessed by Satan for being transgender. And so the police from my church took it upon themselves to arrest me to try to get me to change my ways. And so a whole bunch of things added up to making it look like I was a very bad person. And my children, I think they were confused. They didn't know what to do.
It is a very, very difficult situation for children to be in when they're hearing one thing about their parent and something else might be completely true. Certainly parent alienation is a real grave issue. Your story addresses both gender transition and mental illness. Talk to us about how these two struggles intersect in your life.
Well, it's a huge change to my reality, or to anyone's reality, when you come out as trans. And I don't think people realize how difficult it is to mentally adapt to the rejection, the stigma, and the discrimination that you're going to encounter. And they're all very real. And it caught me off balance. It really made me wonder if I was even allowed to continue being part of society, being on this earth, to remain and struggle. Was it worth it? And I took on the challenge of fighting for human rights for trans people, and that helped me a lot. I advocated for people that needed help, and even though I had very little, I was still able to find purpose in my life.
Yeah. Where did you find the strength to survive during the darkest moments in your life?
I had faith in God. I definitely trusted that God was teaching me something, that everything I was going through, whether it was homelessness, mental health issues, or incarceration, I always asked myself, okay, God, what am I supposed to learn here? What is the message you're trying to teach me? And so I took it as an opportunity to grow. And that's why I wrote Holding On by a Thread, because I was able to share all those things that I learned, not only about myself, but society as a whole.
When did things start getting better for you? You transitioned at 46. It was a difficult journey. When did things start to get a little bit brighter?
We had a little miracle. On October 17th, 2019, my eldest son came to visit me in the hospital. I was on the psych ward for attempting to unalive myself. And my son came to visit me, and he told me a story that his little daughter, she was 5 years old, came home from nursery school and said that boys and girls can change. And her mom said, "What do you mean boys and girls can change?" She said, "Well, boys can be girls and girls can be boys." And her mom asked, "How does that make you feel?" She goes, "Nah, that's okay." And then they realized, if this little girl can wrap her head around it, why are we giving your dad such a hard time? So Amelia was my knight in shining armor. She put a little crack in that wall that was dividing us, and eventually the wall crumbled down, and it was an amazing feeling.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. Were you able to cultivate a relationship with your son at that point as well?
Yes, and then my son reunited me with two of his brothers and one of his sisters. So I have four kids back into my life out of the seven, and
Wonderful.
we have a relationship, and I'm able to make new memories with my grandchildren.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's great. You mentioned 2019 was a turning point. Obviously, over the last few years, mainstream Americans and people around the globe have become more acquainted with the trans issue. And more people are transitioning than ever before, as I understand it. Is this a better time to be trans?
Unfortunately, I'd have to say no. We
Hmm.
have more words, we have the vocabulary to describe who we are, but the backlash has been really bad. When I was dating my soon to be wife, I shared with her that I was transgender. She was 17 years old, and she was supportive. So it seemed like it was a good time, like things were looking up. We married, and we were married for 23 years. And then she asked me in 2009 to stop being trans. So things are very fluid. They come and they go. And so she said, either stop being trans or leave. And I didn't understand what that meant, how to stop being trans. And so I left thinking it would be for a couple of weeks. Well, in 2017, we got human rights in Canada for trans people. And the language grew since 2007. We started having words like transgender, gender identity, and we were starting to explore what this meant. But unfortunately, in the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years, things have gone backwards. The rights that we've had for years now are being tested, and people are overturning those rights and taking them away from us. And it's a dangerous time to be trans right now. Like,
Wow.
I don't feel safe visiting the United States because I'm a
Mm.
trans woman.
Yeah. Yeah, things are very polarized right now. While some people are more enlightened, other people are more in the dark ages than ever before. And I can understand your concern, no doubt. What advice would you give to others who are struggling with their identity, considering transitioning, or are in the process of transitioning?
I would tell them to be their authentic selves. Life is very hard in the closet. It's hard to pretend you're something you're not. And it is quite depressing to be pretending something that you're not. So I would say be your authentic self, prepare that there may be a backlash against you, but in being yourself, you're being honest with yourself, and you are doing what you need to do to make your life worthwhile. Being transgendered is tough. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But at the end of the day, if you are pretending to be something you're not, you're living a lie.
True. Absolutely. No matter who you are, if you're not your authentic self, you're living a lie. And I think that is good advice. And like you said, it's not an easy road to travel. It's not an easy decision to make. But to thine own self be true. And that comes first and foremost. Your book, your story certainly has cinematic potential. Have you envisioned your story as a film, perhaps, or a documentary?
I've done a few documentaries already, but I would love it to become a movie one day, because it's a snapshot of where we are at this time, and it shows what it was like to be transgender over the last 50 years. So I think it would be a worthwhile project to make a film out of it, if for no other reason than to let people know how far we've come and where we are at this point. I'm hoping in 20 years we don't have the word transgender anymore. People are just people. There are no more labels. And that young children, as they go through puberty, are able to adjust their hormones so that they go through the puberty that they're supposed to go through. And thereby they'll fit in very nicely into society and be able to live their true, authentic lives.
What was it like reading this book, writing this book rather, and sharing your story and reliving some of the painful times? Was it cathartic, or was it, I don't know, what was it for you?
Well, it was hard. I wrote things that I wanted to forget, and I shared those things that were very personal. But at the same time, I knew that there would be 7 people in this world that would read this book, my kids, and they would see what I had gone through when they weren't talking to me. And it gave them an insight into who their father is and what their father was going through when we were isolated from each other. So that made it well worth it. It was easy to write because I knew my kids would get the whole story, but it was hard to write because there were things I wanted to forget, and I had to relive those.
I'm sure. And what's the takeaway for readers? What do you hope they get from your story and your book?
I hope they see transgender people as human, with all our weaknesses, with all our beauty, with all the things that they value in life. The fact that I can still be spiritual after having gone through what I went through. I have faith in God. I have faith in humanity. And I hope the readers see that we have no hidden agenda. We just want to be part of society and be the people that we were created to be. And that in the end, to persecute us is to persecute people that really haven't done any harm. We're not hurting anybody. We're just being ourselves.
Exactly, exactly. No crime committed, no harm done, just expressing who you are. And that shouldn't be a crime. It shouldn't be a shame. It shouldn't be a stigma. And it shouldn't be a reason to ostracize. That's for sure. The name of the book, Holding On by a Thread. In the book, Stefonknee gives voice to pain, perseverance, and the enduring human spirit, reminding us that even in our darkest hours, there is always reason to keep holding on. Stefonknee, thank you so much for joining me here today and sharing your story.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Logan, and I appreciate you taking the time to hear my story.
Absolutely. I appreciate your insight, your candor, and the wonderful work on this book. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time.